Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Jordan Pinto, and today we'll be talking about programming in C++, data types to be specific. So, what are data types? Data types in C++ or in programming to be specific refers to the classifications of data and what values they take and the operations that could be performed on them. Okay, so what do I mean by what I'm saying? You see, in computing there are different types of data. We have strings, which is basically words. Example is your name, my name, our name. Okay, so and another data type you'll find in programming or in computer science is also boolean, basically true or false, yes or no, 0 or 1. That's boolean. And we also have a data type called integers. These are basically positive and negative whole numbers with 0 included. We also have data types called void. These data types are data types that returns nothing. As the name suggests, they return nothing. And we have data types called characters. In programming, when we say character is basically a letter or something. A letter it's basically a letter. And characters in C++ could be converted into ASCII code, which is just a whole lot of stuff trying out for you to take. So now let's talk about the data sets. So data types, each data type has a specific data set. So let's talk about the values each data type takes and the sets of values that are in the data type. So let's start with integers. Integers have data types. Integers are a data type that takes positive and negative whole numbers with 0 included, which means any rational number that is whole, as it has no decimal or it has no quotient or something, that is integer for you. And when you split an integer into a rational number with decimals, that's when we get a floating point, what we'll be talking about later. So integers, as I said, are positive and negative whole numbers with 0 included. To declare an integer in C++, let's talk about variable declaration in C++. So what do you mean by a variable? A variable is basically a container that stores items, and you'll be using more of those in programming, not only in C++, but in programming in general. So in declaring variables in C++, we start with the syntax. I know my computer will tell me, or my ID will tell me that I'm making a mistake, but I'm trying to set out a point here. You start with the variable name here, right? Then you bring an equal to sign, then item or whatever you want to store into the variable. So sorry, I made a mistake here. So before the variable name, you have to declare the data type. Whether you are saving an integer into the variable, whatever data type you are saving, you have to declare it here. So you start. I want to store an integer here because we're talking about integers here. So I write the int, meaning an integer in C++, with the variable name, an equal to, and whatever you want to save into the variable. So a real-time variable declaration can become like a number, right? So number here becomes the variable name. Then I declare something like 5,000. It becomes the value inside the variable name. So for you to see what the variable contains, we use the cout. There's cout to see it. So you just type cout, then two less than signs, then the variable name, then end line. You could choose to use number, then a font, then n. Sorry, a backslash and n. Let's stick to ENDL. The ENDL here tells you to tell the compiler that that's the end of the line. So cout number, that's it. So we compile whatever we typed, then we are trying to compile it now. I'm taking one of my compilers here, compiling. They said finish with error, so let's see the error. Okay, there's an error here, but I won't be dealing with it right now. Let's change the compiler. I'll be using another one. Okay, build successful. I made a mistake here. I'm come to delete this thing because this is the binary file of whatever we wrote here. You remember our previous video I spoke about compiled languages and interpreted languages here. So what the compiler basically does here is it's compiled whatever I wrote here into binary form, made it an executable file, and that's what you see at the main.exe. So I'll delete it right now and make you see what really happens. You see they are literally telling me to deleted it. I'm come to compile again, so you see that that's the output or the outcome of whatever we did. Yeah, it's done. So now you can see the main.exe file. Yeah, let's clear. Then you can see it here that this is the main.exe, right? So now let's run it, and you can see 5,000. We basically output the value inside the integer. So that is how we basically declare integers. So moving on to our next data type. The next data type we'll be talking about is floating point. So as the name suggests, the value or its data set consists of decimal numbers, right? So what do I mean by decimal numbers? We have 0.1, 1.2, 3.5. That's what I mean by decimal numbers. So you can't store this. You'll be asking yourself, why can't I use integer for saving basically every number or any numerical value? In C++, it's not done like that. That's what he literally said. The person who built C++ literally wanted to torture us. So he made us use a different data set or data type variable to declare different data types despite their still numerical values. So in floating point, as I said in variable declarations, we start with the variable name float, right? So to declare floating point, we type the variable type float, then the variable name, so floating number for my variable name, then the value floating point value. Yeah, for not for me to forget about this, not forget about this, let's talk about the data size of floating points. Floating points take, or on the memory, is 4 bytes, right? I'll reveal it to you right now for you to see what I'm trying to say. But you see, in C++, C++ is a high-level programming language that accesses the memory directly, right? So it means whatever we do in C++ here, as long as we convert it to binary code, it goes straight. It uses the memory as, how to say it, it uses the memory. So it needs space on the memory to store its information. And for just this floating point number, or this floating point variable, it stores 4 bytes or it takes 4 bytes of the space of the memory. For you to see what I'm trying to say, we use this specific this special object called size, or this special function, size of floating number. This displays the size on the memory of this specific value. So let's see, I think there's a problem somewhere. So size of, okay, so it's working now. So I've saved it, and let's run it. Before I run it, I want to also make you see what is stored inside the floating point. So see out, maybe type flow number, right? Okay, so let's run it. Then bring up my terminal again to see what you're doing. I'm just hoping there's no problem. Okay, it's built to success. Successfully compiled everything. So let's see the output. Yep, so as I said, floating points take 4 bytes of the space on the memory, and this is the value of the floating point. That's basically what we stored inside our variable here. So that's it for floating points. The next data type we'll be talking about is a double, kind of the brother of a floating point. So floating points have a specific length of values it can take. I think it can take up to 10. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really know the value, the number of values a floating point variable can take right now. But double also stores decimals, and what double takes is quite 2 times that of a floating point. So floating points have a length at which the length of values it can take. As soon as it reaches that length, whatever value at the other side of the length turns into rubbish. But for double, it takes 2 times of that, which means it can store complex decimal numbers. And double, if you want accuracy in your calculations in C++, I would suggest you using doubles rather than floating points. Yeah. So I'm going to take you through how we declare doubles. So double is a data type, so type of data of the variable will be double. Then the variable name, so double float, right? Then the data, the value, so this is my value. Yeah. So double, I think double also takes 8 bytes. I think it's 8 bytes, but let's check, because I don't keep those stuffs in my head. Let's check. So let's go to our magic line, see out the size of the double float. Okay, I think there's a problem here. Let's see what the problem is. Double float. Okay, it's working. So now let's see what is stored inside the double float. Okay, I think after I typed everything correctly, this double float shit is still on. Double. Oh, I see the problem. So I'm done. Let's build with G++. Okay, build successfully. Let's see what it says. So ls, let's clear ls, then I said it. So floating point takes 8 bytes of the memory space, and it basically rounded up whatever we tied here. I said floating point. Double float took 8 bytes and it rounded up whatever wrote into this because it was kind of recurring. But let me rather type in a bunch of riggedy ragada here, then run it again, or run the build file. So it's building for us to see. Okay, it's done building. So clear. Then let's run the main.exe. Wow, it took 8 bytes. And I think it's doing the roundup again. So that's what basically float does. For accuracy, sorry, that's what basically double does. For accuracy, I'll suggest using doubles rather than float because it's kind of precise than float. The next data type we'll be talking about is characters. Yeah. So characters, as I said, is just a letter or something. It's a letter in C++, and to declare a character, we use the data type char. Then we type the variable name, so character. Then we type the character we want inside the car. We see out character, but first let's check the size of character. Then let's build to see what it says. Okay, I think it ran. So let's run main.exe. So characters take 1 byte of space, and that's the value you basically stored in the character. But there's one feature of characters that I'll make known to you now. You see, characters are just values, like they just store 1 letter or something. So as letters of the alphabet go from A to Z, you can represent letters of the alphabet with numbers, like from 1 to I think 26, because the number of letters is kind of 26 or something. So you can basically represent characters with numbers, and it will print out the value, the assigned value for that number. For lowercase letters, you will print out from lowercase letters, it starts from 1 to 26. I think from uppercase letters, it starts from probably 27 to the last letter, which will be probably 26 times 2. So it will be kind of 53 or something. Right? So I'm going to explain that too. I'll demonstrate that to you now. So let's comment this out. Then let's type character 2, then say 5, right? Then see out character 2, then end here. I think I typed the character wrong, so everything is in place now. So let's build it to see what I'm trying to say. So we build with G++. G++ is I prefer G++ than Clang, because it quite prints out, it builds everything. Even if you make errors, it will build it out and warn you about it. I think Clang on the other hand will just stop it at the point. So when it finishes building, you can run, and as soon as it reaches the place that has a problem, it will self-terminate. That's C++ for you. Literally telling you that the rest of the code you wrote is shit. So let's run our binary file. Oh, I think there's a problem somewhere. Let's see. Sorry, I have to build first, so I had to reflect in our new binary file. Okay. It's still not showing. I think there's something I'm not doing right. As a programmer, I always suggest do researches, yeah. And I think my research I did quite some researches here, so let's check. Terminal. Then so I'm going to look in my past files to see what I did wrong. So operations on data, I think I have characters here. let's see the problem. Oh, nice. So I think I see the problem. I see the problem. So let's look at it and deal with it. So to see out this, we use a special function called static keys. Then type int here. Then we type the variable name once. I think there's still something that I'm not doing. Static cast. Let's build it. I think I did something there. So let's type 26, right? Now let's build it. Error. The S is causing an error. So let's do it again. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I think there's still a problem. I'm not getting the variables I want, so let's ask the internet. So number for printing printing character this is 97, right? So let's check it out. Let's build with GCC. as you can see here, it printed out the lowercase a, which means lowercase a is value 97 in the ASCII code. So I think that's all for characters. Let's move on to the next data set. So the next data set we'll be talking about will be long. No. Yeah, we'll be talking about arrays. What's an array? An array is a list of items, or a list of values stored in a variable. So think of an array as like writing down a grocery list or something to go and buy something from the grocery store. So you write it in a list. C++ has a data type that does specifically that, and that is an array. So for arrays, their syntax in declaring their variables is quite different. You would basically declare the type of data you'll be storing inside the array as the data type here. So I want to store in the like numbers into my array. I type integer here, then array name, so my array. Then for arrays we use these brackets to declare it, then we declare the size of the array in it, right? We declare the size of the array in it. Sorry, instead of that we do this, then we declare the size of the array in it. Then now we store values. So we basically declared the array. So now this array exists but has empty values in it. So to store values inside an array, we use a method called indexing. An index basically arrays the values or number of values inside an array holds a specific number. So it's starting from 0. So the first array item has an index of 0 going to the last array, which has an index of n. So the index of an array for the last value is basically the size of the array minus 1. So to store value in the first spot of my array, I type the array name, my array, then index 0 to say the first spot. Then I type what I want to type. So I said they are what's the name? They are, how do you call it? They are integers. That's why I declared at the top here integer. So my array 0 to store in the first spot. So let's reference from, because I'm having a problem in declaring arrays here. sorry. So in declaring arrays, we go with the variable name or the type of data type you are going to store inside the array, then the array name. So my array name will be my array. Then I type the size of the array I want. Yeah. Then I go with this. I now want to store values inside my array. I type the array name, my array. Then arrays go with indexing. So the first value in an array should be 0. So start by index of 0. Then so on to the last one. So the first one has an array index of 0. Then which means when I type a value for this, right, it stores it into the first spot of the array, right? So let's see what I'm trying to see. Let's build to demonstrate what I'm trying to see. Okay, I'm done building. Let's check. Oh, sorry. I forgot. So let's check it now. You can see 39 was stored in the first array. Then I console it out, or should I say I displayed it inside the terminal. So that's basically how arrays work. So that's all for this lesson. I'll meet you or catch you up on the next